If only they knew the secret between her legs that frightens men. They say old Mama Ebele could curdle milk with a glance and silence a roaring masquerade with a whisper. But that wasn't what truly made the men of our village, Umuofia, tremble. It was a secret between her legs, a secret so potent, so terrifying. It was only spoken of in hushed tones, behind cupped hands, under the watchful gaze of the ancient Baobab tree. I, Adanna, saw it all. I was just a little girl then, barely 10, rainy seasons old, but the memory is stuck in my heart like the tribal marks on my father's arm. It clung to me, a constant hue beneath the surface of my life, a chilling reminder of the power women held, a power that could both protect and destroy. Umuofia was a village where everyone knew everyone. We lived in harmony with the land, respecting the spirit that dwelled in the whispering winds and the gobbling streams. We planted our yams with care, coaxed the cassava from the earth, and celebrated the circles of life with vibrant festivals. Mama Ebele was an enigma, a woman shrouded in mystery. She lived alone in a small hut on the outskirts of the village, a dwelling that seemed to grow organically from the earth itself, surrounded by a tangle of grown shrubs and thorny bushes. It was a place where shadows danced and whispers lingered, a place that both fascinated and repelled me. Her face was a roadmap of wrinkles, each line etched by time and experience, telling silent tales of hardship endured and wisdom gained. Her eyes, though, were what captivated you. They were deep and piercing, like pools of ancient knowledge, reflecting secrets that could make your blood run cold. They seemed to see right through you, stripping bare your soul and exposing your deepest fears. From my secret perch high in the branches of the mango tree at the edge of her compound, I would watch her. I was a curious child, always eager to learn, and Mama Ebele, despite the fear she inspired, held an irresistible allure. She moved with a grace that belied her age. Her hands, gnarled and knotted like the roots of an old tree, nimble as she tended to her herbs and concoctions, spoke to the wind, to the birds that flitted through the branches, to the spirit that dwelled in the rusting leaves of the baobab. She seemed to be a part of the very fabric of the forest, a conduit between the natural world and the realm of the unseen. The villagers both feared and respected her. They sought her counsel for ailments that baffled the medicine men, for barren wives who longed for children, for protection against the malevolent spirit that lurked in the shadows. But they never lingered. They paid their respect, received their cryptic advice, and hurried away, their eyes darting nervously towards her heart, towards the secret that lay hidden within. One Harmattan season, a strange and terrifying sickness swept through Umuofia. It arrived like a thief in the night, stealing the life force from our village. It started with a fever that burned like fire, a racking cough that tore at the lungs, and then death. Men, strong and virile, fell like felled trees, their bodies weakened and wasted. Women, heavy with child, withered like dried gulls, their unborn babies stillborn. Fear gripped the village like a vice, squeezing the joy from our lives and replacing it with a gnawing dread. The medicine men were baffled. Their traditional herbs and incantations, which had always served us well in the past, offered no respite. The villagers, desperate for answers, turned to Mama Ebele, their fear momentarily overshadowed by their overwhelming need for help. My father, a respected elder in the village, a man of strength and wisdom, led the delegation to Mama Ebele's hut. I, ever curious and drawn to the unfolding drama, trailed behind, hiding amongst the thick bushes, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum. I watched as my father and the other elders prostrated, themselves before Mama Ebele, humbling themselves before her and begging for her help. Mama Ebele listened in silence, her eyes closed, her face impassive, revealing nothing of her thoughts. When they had finished their pleas, she opened her eyes and her gaze swept over them, piercing their souls, seeing their fear, their desperation, their unspoken questions. "The sickness," she said, her voice raspy, like dried leaves skittering across the parched earth, "is not of this world. It is a curse. A punishment for a transgression against the ancient spirit, a violation of the sacred balance between the living and the dead." "What must we do to appease the spirit?" my father asked, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and hope. Mama Ebele was silent for a long moment, her eyes fixed on some distant point, as if she were communicating with the spirit themselves. Then she spoke, her voice barely a whisper, yet carrying an undeniable weight of authority. The secret must be revealed. The veil of silence must be lifted. Only then can the curse be broken and the village restored. A collective gasp rippled through the elders. The secret, the unspoken fear that had haunted Umuofia for generations, the dark shadow that lurked in the corners of our collective consciousness, the secret between Mama Ebele's leg. But Mama Ebele, my father stammered, his brow furrowed with worry. "The secret, it is forbidden. It is a sacred knowledge passed down through the women of our lineage, a power that must be protected at all cost." "The spirit demand it," Mama Ebele replied, her voice firm, leaving no room for argument. "Their wrath will not be appeased by anything less. Umuofia will perish if the secret remains hidden." The elders retreated from Mama Ebele's hut, their faces etched with worry and confusion. They gathered in the village square under the watchful eyes of the ancient Baobab, its gnarled branches reaching towards the heaven like supplicating arms, to discuss Mama Ebele's pronouncement. The air was stiff, with tension, with fear, with the weight of unspoken words. Some argued that revealing the secret would be a sacrilege, a violation of the ancient custom that had guided our community for centuries. Others, desperate to save their families, their village, argued that they had no choice, that they must obey the will of the spirit. As the sun began to set, casting long airy shadows across the village square, the elders finally reached a decision. They would consult the oracle, the ultimate arbiter of the truth and wisdom, the one who could speak with the spirit and interpret their desires. The oracle would decide whether the secret should be revealed or whether there was another way to appease the angry spirit and lift the curse that had fallen upon Umuofia. The next day, a solemn procession of villagers, led by the elders, made their way to the sacred grove where the oracle resided. I, as always, followed, keeping my distance, hiding behind trees and bushes, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. I knew that what was about to happen would change our village forever. The oracle, a wizened old woman, with eyes that seemed to see into the depth of your soul, listened intently to the elder's plea, her face a mark of solemnity. She then went into a trance, her body shaking, her eyes rolling back into her head, her breath coming in short, ragged gasps. The air around her crackled with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of the presence of the spirit. When she emerged from the trance, her voice was no longer her own. It was the voice of the spirit, ancient and powerful, resonating with an otherworldly authority. "The secret," the oracle boomed, her voice echoing through the sacred grove, "must be revealed. It is the only way to break the curse that plagued Umuofia. The blood of innocence has been spilled. Only the truth can cleanse the land. The elders returned to Umuofia, their faces grim, their shoulders heavy with the weight of the oracle's pronouncement. They gathered the villagers in the village square, under the Baobab tree, its branches swaying in the evening breeze like the arms of a grieving mother. My father stepped forward, his voice heavy with dread, his eyes filled with a deep sadness. The oracle has spoken, he announced, his words hanging in the air like a dead nail. The secret must be revealed. A hush fell over the crowd. All eyes turned towards Mama Ebele, who stood silently in the shadows of her hut, her face unreadable, her expression enigmatic. She was the keeper of the secret, the guardian of the ancient power that both terrified and protected our village. The weight of generations, the burden of tradition, rested upon her shoulder. What is the secret between Mama Ebele's leg that frightens men and holds the key to Umuofia's fate? You want to know what happened next? Part 2 is already on your screen. Watch now.